What's going on, guys? I'm Maze, here with my review on the latest Pokemon Sun and Moon anime episode, episode 69, the Shining Starship Celesteela. With that title now said though, get relaxed everybody, as I will now jump right into this episode review. So the episode begins off with Sophocles and his parents camping out near some bamboo grove. However, Sophocles like usual is just focusing on his work. Ah, so relatable. Anyway, this time, his work is something to do with the moon. However, later on when his work is done, he decides to go check up on the moon, and then tells his Pokemon a folktale about Celesteela, where basically it crash landed on Earth and then started to make bamboo die in the area it was in, enraging the villagers nearby who needed it for food. However, one day it then gets back up and leaves to the moon being its home, leaving behind newly grown bamboo too, ending the story off. It's a pretty interesting story. I will admit, I still don't really get this first half of the episode, even when watching subs, hence why this description may not be the best. But regardless, going to the simple stuff now, Sophocles then notices an area below him that does not have bamboo, which Togedemaru leaning in to check this out, falls down the hill, which Sophocles and Chochobook trying to help it fall down the hill too, finding Celesteela in this area. Oh wow, how convenient how he told a tale about Celesteela and then found it. Anyway, at first, he thought it was bamboo in the ground, but then realized it was metal and it had a smile on his face, which then he worked out it was Celesteela. Grabbing his friends the next day to try and help him dig out this Pokemon to confirm that it is actually Celesteela. Which this section was just boring to me, so let's move on. Although I will admit, I do like how Chochobook called upon Grubbin to help dig this Pokemon out. That's clever, but that's the only section I liked. Anyway, the gang managed to dig up the entire Pokemon, and this is where they question if it is an Ultra Beast or not, due to no info on Celesteela being in the Pokédex, which Lily then states that if this is the case, they have to contact Aether Foundation and put it into a Beast Ball. However, Sophocles then pleads that he wants to investigate the Pokemon more before contacting Aether Foundation, such as finding out where it crash landed and how to get it back to the moon, as he really wants it to go to the moon due to the folktale, which Lily and the others allow this. And I just gotta say, that was a really nice Sophocles moment, probably the best in the entire series. Really nice motives. Anyway, of course, after that, Sophocles does the research that he wanted to, finding out that the Pokemon crash landed 200 years ago, telling the gang this the next day. However, the Ultra Guardian bell then rings after this, and the gang go to their base, which Lucian then reveals that an Ultra Beast was located at the Bamboo Grove, this being the Celesteela that the gang dug up. It now emits an Ultra Aura, and the Aether Foundation given the name Celesteela to it due to the folk tale. However, Sophocles gets all sad that he has to catch it, but Lucian states that it has to be caught, otherwise the bamboo in the area will be destroyed once it launches, as this Ultra Aura is waking it up, it now getting ready to launch, but promises to Sophocles that after he catches it, he can release it in another location and send it to the moon instead of an Ultra Wormhole, which was sweet and makes Sophocles happy. The Ultra Guardians then setting out to do this mission. However, once they arrive at Celesteela, the Beast Balls wouldn't work, as Sophocles works out that they have very little time before Celesteela launches. So they come up with a plan to make a defensive wall against Celesteela so it doesn't destroy the bamboo. But Team Rocket then come in with a giant mech to try and catch Celesteela due to overhearing when the Ultra Guardians arrive that it acts like a rocket. Ah, classic Team Rocket. However, Ash and Kiori then distract Team Rocket while the wall gets made using the girl's Pokemon and Ride Pokemon. Celesteela successfully launching without destroying any bamboo, and Team Rocket who aimed their robot fist at Celesteela gets deflected and they basically get punched in the face, which was kind of funny. Them then blasting off, making the job easier for Ash and Kiori. Regardless, once Celesteela is fully in the air, it heads towards the moon as it's its home, and all the Ultra Guardians say goodbye to it. Celesteela seeing this and smiling to them, basically saying thank you. And this makes Sophocles really happy because, you know, he admires it and that he did a good job. The episode then ending off with Tapu Koko watching all of this from a distance, which makes me wonder if it's gonna get a big focus in this arc, as why else would they put Tapu Koko there? It makes you think. Regardless, with that story now said, let's now move on to my overall thoughts of this episode. Firstly, for the story, as you guys know if you watched my previous discussion on this episode, I thought this episode would be so underwhelming, just basing it off the summary and preview that we got. However, when watching this episode, I actually enjoyed watching it, which still surprises me right now due to how much I was disappointed by that summary and preview. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode, apart from the first half. The most enjoyable factor for this episode was actually the story. It was a nice twist from the Buzzwole story episode, and I thought the Buzzwole story would be the same for every other Ultra Beast. But nope, I'm wrong, and I'm glad, as if the anime writers keep coming up with these unique ideas that suit the Ultra Beasts, I will enjoy the Ultra Guardians arc even more. Like seriously, the story they made for Celesteela fits it perfectly. The whole folktale thing, how it's a ship, and even making it return to its own world by itself, or rather the moon, which was sweet. Of course though, another factor I liked about the story is the Sophocles focus. As we all know, he is the most disliked character by the fanbase from this anime, and I don't necessarily dislike him, but I just dislike his focuses, as all of them felt so useless. However, within this episode, it was so perfect for Sophocles and gave him more justice in my opinion, which hopefully those people who dislike him feel the same way that I do. In fact, remember back in episode 67 where Sophocles said his goal is to meet Pokemon from outer space? Well, he kinda did here, which is nice foreshadowing, and like I explained in that review, I find the goal to be pretty nice and it suits him so well, which it got executed very nicely within this episode. I cannot wait to see more in the future too. Maybe that will be at the Ula Ula Island Observatory. Also, just by thinking about it, it seems like we might get a classmate focus on each Ultra Beast, which would be pretty awesome. Regardless, getting back on track, another thing I want to say regarding Sophocles' focus is that I like how Ash didn't have that much screen time or importance, because as we all know, he is the main protagonist, so we see him all the time. So it was just nice to see him be in the background, and in fact usually with other characters who get a main focus, Ash still takes up a lot of the screen time, which he didn't here, this being even more nice in my opinion. Like, they've got to stop using Ash so much, he doesn't need to be there all the time, so well done for not doing it in this episode, Pokemon. Anyway, moving on to Team Rocket's role in this episode, I will admit, I was excited to see them in this episode when I saw the preview. However, when watching this actual episode, it just felt lackluster. I guess I just wish to see more, but yeah, I don't really think much of that section now, and I just felt like I had to say it. So let's just move on. Finally, for this story section, of course like usual, I found many small moments to be pretty cool too. So let's go over the ones within this episode. Which firstly we have all the stuff I said during the story section. I also like the teamwork we saw from the girls, it was nice. I like how the right Pokemon are allowed to use moves, as they are pretty cool Pokemon. It would be a shame if they weren't allowed to use moves. I like Tapu Koko lurking, as it's getting me thinking for theories of why it's watching the Ultra Guardians. I like the real life logic they put into this episode, such as Sophocles researching layers when finding out how long Celesteela has been in the dirt. We don't usually see that stuff. And finally, although this may not be small, I just want to say something that's been on my mind for a while, and I guess it fits nicely for a review. So, here we go. The more I watch Sun and Moon, the more I'm thankful that they did the school idea. Although that sounds weird, I know, but would you guys really want a lot of fillers if he was on a journey? Because Alola is small, and the anime has to last 2 to 3 years, that would have been a lot of filler if he was on a journey, which I know I wouldn't like. However, with this school idea, it allows for slice of life episodes, which counts towards being plot important, and we even get super cool episode ideas that have been never done before from Pokemon, such as the sports episode, and of course, the Ultra Guardians concept. I love that concept the most from this anime. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm thankful that we got the school. Don't get me wrong, a journey is what I wanted originally, and I still kinda want one, as I like that formula more, but like I said with this anime having to last 2 to 3 years, a journey would have been very oof for Sun and Moon. And besides, I think the school idea will only last one series, and we will return for a journey in Generation 8, which is really hype as that's the formula I love the most. School just being decent, but allows for a nice change of pace due to a small region. Hopefully my opinions don't get hated on here, it's just my opinion. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this story section now, so let's focus back on this episode with the animation and music aspects. Firstly, for the animation, it was fluid throughout the whole thing, but my favourite highlights have to be the art style during the folktale, that was pretty, and finally we have the night sky effects along with Celesteela launching, that was beautiful to me. As for the music aspects though, every tune was nice to listen to, but my favourite highlights have to be the Mali City remix during the folktale. I legit love Mali City's theme so much already, so to hear a remix just made me really happy. Some black and white music that played during the Ultra Guardian base scene was pretty nice to listen to. And finally, we have the music that played when Celesteela launched. That was absolutely beautiful, whatever it was. With everything I've said in this video though, I have decided to give this episode a rating of 6.5 out of 10. You may have expected a higher rating from me, but like I said, the first half of this episode was kind of boring, which is why the rating is how it is, but the second half was really nicely made. However, let me know in the comments down below what you actually thought of this episode. I'd love to hear. And that actually concludes it for this review now. So if you enjoyed this overall video, then be sure to leave a like and a subscribe for future Pokemon content. It helps out a ton. You'll also become a member of the Entity Squad. For now, this is Entity Maze, signing out. Thank you for watching.